Spongebob, it's a show that needs no introduction. Everyone on the planet has heard of it and watched it at some point, I swear to God. We all know our nautical friends living down in Bikini Bottom. The energetic and happy Spongebob, the slow-witted starfish Patrick, the miserable and ever too relatable Squidward, the bourgeoisie pig and cheapskate Mr. Krabs, the only Texan that I know who believes in science and is a known practitioner of karate, Sandy Cheeks, and the nefarious schemer Plankton. We have watched all these characters go have adventures and guffaw at their humorous antics for at least 20 years. For nearly 20 years, we have seen them enter wacky situations such as challenging their literal god/monarch to a royal cook-off, to more simplistic scenarios like trying to write an essay. We have been there for the sadder moments like when Gary left, to the heartwarming moments where the whole town came together for Squidward and for at least one night made the most miserable and self-loathing person in Bikini Bottom the happiest person on earth. I know that's irrelevant to the video, but so beautiful and wholesome for Squidward to not mention, at least for a quick minute. It would have been a crime unto itself. The point is, these characters have been on so many different adventures, ranging from the standard 15-minute episodes to at least 90 minutes runtime cinematically speaking, which happened not once, not twice, but 3 times, and they were feature films for theaters, not direct-to-DVD dollar bin type of shit. So to sum it up, they have been on lots of adventures. But in all the episodes of Spongebob, the most peculiar one that sticks out to me, in my opinion, due to its suspenseful and eerie nature, would definitely be Season 1, Episode 17B, or as it is more commonly known as by the general public, Rock Bottom. The basic plot elements of this episode go like this. SpongeBob and Patrick have a fun day at the renowned amusement park Love World and take the bus home. They take the bus home and unfortunately they miss their stop and end up in Rock Bottom, a dark abyss full of unusual sea creatures and other oddities in behavior or just in itself nature. Patrick manages to find a bus but accidentally leaves SpongeBob behind as he spends the rest of the episode trying to get on a bus to get out of Dodge in this case being Rock Bottom. His exasperated and exhaustive efforts of trying to get a bus ride home are in vain unfortunately, and SpongeBob finds himself surrounded with the scariest elements of all, isolation and the unknown. However, it is thanks to a stranger's kindness that he is able to return back to Bikini Bottom, with this episode ending on a high note. Now that the episode has been summarized to a gist, let's get into the meat of the video. What exactly is the meaning of Rock Bottom? Now, multiple scholars pertaining to the study of SpongeBob have their own theories on the episode, such as being a metaphor for depression, or perhaps an allegory for the immigrant experience. However, allow me to postulate the following claim. I believe that Rock Bottom is the SpongeBob version of the underworld, or rather hell. As we understand the denizens and setting of Rock Bottom, both are quite different from the traditional citizens and landscape of Bikini Bottom, more darker and more monstrous. This is due to Rock Bottom's location being in either the abysso-pelagic or hadopelagic zone, which would explain the lack of sunlight in the area and the weird sea life that populates Rock Bottom, creating an uncanny valley feeling. But I see a similarity between this episode and a quite famous piece of literature, aka the second best fanfiction behind My Immortal, or Sonic Chew. I checked Sonic Chew. It qualifies as a fanfiction. It's Dante's Inferno. I'm talking about Dante's Inferno. Basically, the poet Dante is taken on an adventure by his personal hero, the poet Virgil, as they explore the depths of hell, facing many horrors and other obstacles on the road to salvation. Now you may be asking, how does a SpongeBob episode for kids relate to some Italian guy's self-insert story from back in the Renaissance times? Well, I will tell you, in the Rock Bottom episode, SpongeBob is placed within his own version of hell, and while he doesn't face demons or icy pits full of sinners, he faces smaller but increasingly significant troubles, such as hunger and uncomfortability. An example of some uncomfortable circumstances that he finds himself is the wind, which blows the glove world hat he is wearing off his head. In Dante's Inferno, there is also wind, although this wind is on the lust layer of hell, which apparently represents the restlessness of a person who is led by the desire for fleshy purposes, according to historylist.org. This probably isn't likely the same case as SpongeBob is canonically asexual, but I will say the winds are more so a test of his resilience against adversity. Another thing to note can be seen with SpongeBob's hunger. As he waits for the bus, he grows more hungry, and he sees the vending machine where he tries to get some candy, but whenever he tries to get it, the bus comes and leaves in an instant. Now let's take a look at this all together. The hunger, the wind, the unknown. I think that all of this is supposed to represent something deeper, something that resides in us all, our primal nature. It is no stranger that SpongeBob is a rather civilized person, working a 9-to-5 job, socializing with friends, the whole 9 yards, but he's something that we could see ourselves in, a regular Joe who goes with the flow, you know? But as soon as he is placed in an unfamiliar environment without any survival skills, he falls onto the only thing that he could rely on at the time, the id, which basically controls our instincts according to Freud. Anyways, as the episode withers on, with the darkness being foreboded and the sense of time becoming more and more lost, SpongeBob faces his most fearsome obstacle: bureaucracy. The bus station's bureaucratic order is confusing and obviously despairing, as for every step that SpongeBob makes in line, he has to take 2 steps back. Ultimately, when he does make it to the window, the bus leaves again and the bus station closes for the night, leaving SpongeBob alone, which is truly the scariest thing of all. With no other means of escape, he resorts to his primal instincts, recognizing that in this environment he is not civilized, but rather prey to whatever may lurk in the darkness. He is essentially alone, feverish for escape from this wicked bastion of darkness. However, thanks to the kindness of a stranger, he manages to fly up to head back home, which could possibly represent his salvation for bearing the brunt of the ordeal. But why does the bus come at such odd intervals and goes away whenever SpongeBob isn't there? Well, in all the attempts to leave Rock Bottom, he is usually all alone to his devices, having no help, and when he tries to get help, it creates misunderstandings. But ultimately, thanks to the anglerfish stranger, he is able to return home. I think the significance of this episode is that it teaches the audience that to brave the world alone and isolated without any knowledge is possibly the most frightening thing that we could do. But if we allow ourselves to accept help or extend a helping hand to our fellow person, we could persevere throughout nature and history despite our differences. By offering our services to anyone in need, hells can turn it into heavens. Or something along the lines of that. I don't really know. Maybe it's a metaphor for how our universal pack mentality keeps us able to survive, or maybe it was just to be a little scary episode. In my opinion, the scariest was that butterfly episode, the buzzing and the close-up shots. I swear to God, it gives me lifelong entomophobia, which is the fear of insects. Anyways, that's all I got on my theory of this episode. If you want to hear more SpongeBob theories or other similar content like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you soon. Peace.